Monday night
Yes.
at 7:30. Going to have a little fun and frivolity there. All right, I see that's up. I'm waiting on us to come up here.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a fun show. What we're going to do, we're going to do something a little different tonight, folks. Something we hadn't done in a while. We do not have a guest tonight. We had some guests scheduled, however, they weren't able to make it.
To
Had some
make it.
conflicts
Yeah,
going on,
that's
and that's
okay.
okay because things happen. So we have two special shows coming up right now, back to back. We have a Christmas show tonight, and what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about some Christmas memories, some
So
things that
chime
you
in,
might have.
folks,
Yes,
on
chime
on the
in.
on the chat, on the
Things that
YouTube
make it
chat.
feel like Christmas time. We're
Yeah,
going to kind of do all a combination of all of that, and just have some fun for about 30 minutes tonight, and
sure.
then next week. Again, I'm kind of excited because we are going to be able to have our year end
Wrap
show.
up
Can
show.
you hear the music now, DC? I got it back up.
No, I don't hear anything. I do not.
All right. It'll probably come back in a minute. Let me fix some settings here. But it's coming through, and I'm able to monitor YouTube. So let's.
Oh, I got it.
There you go.
Wish you.
All right, so we're gonna play a little iHeart. Give them a little credit with some Christmas music as we kind of talk through tonight, and
Yes.
just kind of have some fun. So join in on the chat lines. We're live on YouTube, live on TikTok. Like I said, next week we're gonna do our year-end wrap-up show. So kind of two special shows here in a row that we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Originally had some guests planned in place. Some things have changed on their schedule. So we appreciate them rescheduling to a different time for us. So you just have to put up with us for the next couple of days. Won't be any big deal. But DC, I was thinking, man, when I was thinking about this show, I kind of got excited because
Well, we need to get excited about. Should we do our intro?
yeah, we probably should do that first, man. Let's do
it
it
just
right
it
here.
just dawned on me. It just
Let's
dawned on
do
me.
it.
Here we go.
All right.
Hi, this is Ivan from Men Without Hats, and you're listening live from Nashville to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So, guys, take it away.
Take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s.
We're back.
I'm DH,
I am DC.
and we're going to pick up where we left off.
Go ahead. Sorry to cut you off there,
Oh,
buddy.
hey, I'm glad you did. Man, I was jumping. I was so excited. I was jumping right in.
You are all fired up.
Hey, Trans-Siberian Orchestra playing a little bit here on iHeart.
Yes, sir.
I like that one.
Yeah. A little
Yeah.
iHeart radio for us.
Yeah,
A little holiday.
just for a little
season.
holiday
Mhm.
season here. So anyway, what I was going to say, DC, I got thinking about this, and certain times of years, there's certain movies we watch that kind of get us in the kind of mood for that season.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, every year with baseball season, I got to see Major League. I got to see Rookie of the Year. There's certain movies you watch. Football season
Sure.
rolls around. It's Rudy. The
Right.
replacements.
Remember
those
the
types of
Titans.
movies.
Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to thinking, man, there is a lot of Christmas movies, but there's certain ones that when I watch each year, and I'm going to ask you
Mhm.
some of these too,
Mm-hmm.
but when you watch certain movies each year, it's like now it's Christmas time,
Yes. Yep.
And one of the first ones that comes to mind, and it's amazing how many of these are back from the 80s, and in that
Right.
time frame.
Right. That
But
time
the,
frame.
the
Yeah.
first one that I think everybody has to watch when it becomes Christmas season is Christmas Vacation. With
Oh, number one on my list.
Yeah.
Number one on my list.
I mean, that show just says Christmas time. And I guarantee you, probably everybody out there listening is thinking of different scenes, like, just iconic scenes. And I think there's things we can relate to. Like, we all have that crazy uncle or kind of out there uncle, right?
Right.
And you know what's bad is
Right.
when you realize you are that uncle.
Right. Yeah. When you
But-
have something in common or that cousin
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, just just it's not. And I know this is weird, but it makes you think of certain things like or certain times. Like when you watch that movie, you can remember
Mhm.
like that first Christmas when it came out, and it kind of takes you back. So, kind of what I'm going to ask you is kind of think back to when you first watched that movie, Christmas Vacation. Tell me about your Christmas that year. What was you doing?
Oh gosh. Well, we were high schoolers, I think,
Yes,
about the
we
time that
were.
thing came out.
Yes.
So I was probably thinking I was a big shot when I really wasn't a big
Yeah,
shot.
weren't we all
As
thinking
yeah, as
that?
all teenagers think they can just take on the world and accomplish whatever they can possibly get done at that age.
Yeah.
So no, the Christmas is back in, and we try our best, even in our age now that we are. We try our best to have Christmases that are family oriented. They are focused around the family itself
Yes.
and the food, and I just have very fond memories of a very close knit family.
Yes.
With lots of aunts and uncles that
Yep.
loved the holiday season as well.
And
And that movie, it reminded me a lot of things about my family. Just having the unique, kind of a character uncle that I had or a character aunt I had. That kind of thing would kind of relate a little bit to that movie in a way.
yeah. And here,
Uh, but trying to have the best Christmas, I think we always tried to, like everybody does,
yeah.
trying to have the very best Christmas you possibly can have, and things just don't go right
And here's
sometimes.
here's the amazing thing though, with you saying that. I want you to think about this. When I think back about Christmases, especially back in that time frame. Okay, so number one, we were teenagers. So as a teenager, you don't always see eye to eye with your parents. You find out later they were a lot more correct than you were.
Yeah. They
But
they were correct on what they tried to tell you.
but all that sets aside when you start watching those movies you remember watching with them.
Hmm.
But the thing that really strikes me, and this is the biggest thing about that the Christmas Vacation movie is thinking back. You remember times with family, friends, and all of that, with the exception of when I turned 16 or when you turned 16 and we got
Right,
the cars.
right.
Can you think of any? I mean, I know we can think of certain presents we got, but you can never think of what year they were. But you can always
You can
remember
remember
getting together
that
with the
car?
family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you can always remember getting together
Yeah.
with the family is the point.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, yes.
that's the
But
point I'm making. Like,
but
like I
it was
remember.
weird that you say that about the car. We were going to have a Christmas Eve get together. Matter of fact, it's not very far from where I live now, where my cousin Jeff grew up. His folks still live in that house, and we were going to do an event there with all our family. And I couldn't figure it out. Why in the world are we waiting around? Why aren't we just getting in the car and going? And like they were him hauling around. Well, we're gonna be early if we leave yet and all that. Well, while we're standing out here in the cold, then it didn't make so stuff wasn't lining up very well to me or whatever. Then all of a sudden, my cousin's husband drives the car into the driveway and says, "Merry Christmas, David. Merry Christmas." And so anyway, that's how I received my car when I
That's
was
cool.
16.
Here,
I
here's
was
the
on
thing.
Christmas Eve.
That is really cool. Here's the thing that I remember, and times change as we grew older. But I
Hmm.
was very blessed to have my grandparents for a long time growing up,
Hmm.
and I would remember because you know, I mean, back in those days, it was always you would get like candy canes and fruits and all of that stuff from your
Sure.
grandparents,
Right.
and that was just amazing to me. And then how that transitioned into all of us as we're starting our families and stuff and everybody coming
Hmm.
back together, mom and dads, and just remembering those times with siblings and family members and watching nieces and nephews and your own kids grow up around your
Growing up, their
family.
own kids growing up.
Yeah,
Right.
but I remember, Mine, I got a little different because, my birthday's right there after Christmas. So me
Sure.
and my dad and my brother-in-law, Dean, we went to Murfreesboro and actually picked out my car. So,
Oh, wow.
and then of course, Dean being a mechanic, he did some work to it. Then I took it, got the rims on it and everything. So, I mean, it was really nice. So,
Yes, it was.
yeah, but
Yes, it
those you remember the family stuff more than you do the actual
any kind of presents or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
I think that for that movie Chevy Chase, that's kind of what that movie
Yeah.
represents.
Yeah.
Is the parents or the grandparents trying to make it very special for everybody, like going over the
Right.
top with the lights and stuff. And we
Right.
still do that for
Sure.
our grandkids, but that's kind of what that represents.
That's
to
right.
me.
That's
Now,
right.
The second movie I want to talk about, and this one, I guess it kind of relates to the family as well, but the Home Alone.
Yeah.
It's not Christmas if I don't see Home Alone.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what it is about that movie, but that's Christmas. So
Yeah.
you got to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Christmas Story.
Yep, the Christmas Story with the BB gun.
Oh my gosh, that's a great one. That's a fantastic one.
And then, of course, you got to watch the classics. The animated cartoons of Rudolph and
Sure.
Frosty the Snowman and all that.
Sure.
That was Christmas back then. You knew when Rudolph came on TV or Frosty the Snowman came on TV.
Sure.
We were getting there then. Now we're
Santa
making
Claus is
progress.
coming to town.
We're making
That was another
progress
one.
now. And do you remember for us in Nashville? I don't know if you remember this or not, but Bill Hall,
Mhm.
It's the holidays.
Dimitri Kalademas,
This is
Mhm.
iHeart Christmas.
trying to remember them all that was on there.
Dan Miller,
Dan Miller
Mhm.
and Rudy Kalis.
Rudy Callis. That was the lineup.
That week of Christmas, they would always do that 10 o'clock news.
Hmm.
And it would always be Bill Hall tracking Santa Claus. And then he would pop into the studio right as they were going off air.
Yep.
And you knew when Santa Claus came into that studio, you better get your butt in bed because
Right, because you knew he was close to the house.
But they used to track him. I remember that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's just that's cool. I wonder. And I guess I'll have to pay attention this year. Do they still track him? I wonder.
No, NORAD. You
NORAD?
can do it. You can do it yourself. I don't know if very many TV people are into that nowadays or not, but you're right. That was a big to do then.
Oh yeah.
He would tell you where he was tracking it, or
Yeah.
like on the early news, it was like, well, he's over England,
Yeah.
or whatever.
He's coming into It would always be coming into New York and coming down.
Right. He'd hit New York. Yeah, he'd hit New York first.
And I always wondered, how did they have his flight plans? That's what I always wondered, but they did.
Good point. Yes.
You know?
Yeah, because that stuff was always top secret.
Yeah, but they always had his flight
But
plans.
they knew it. Right.
Yeah,
They knew
so
it.
I just remember, and then you're waking up on Christmas morning and,
Mhm.
waking everybody up so you could open presents or whatever. I mean, it just, that's the nostalgia that I think everybody remembers. You don't
Right.
remember the exact present, but you remember,
Right.
You always knew Santa
Yeah.
was coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And you probably remember some of the big items along the way, that you probably got.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You remember certain-
We always, every few years, we'd get each one of us get a bike.
Right. Because you outgrow
And-
your old one.
Yeah, and here's the thing. What was wild is that in that little tiny house we grew up with 3 boys in it, we couldn't wait to try to get the darn thing outside.
Right.
So you try to pedal just a little ways, like in the house.
Oh, I remember.
I think everybody did that.
I remember
Every kid
many-
tried to paddle in the house.
I remember many of Christmas days us meeting on Campbell Place there. You coming towards me,
Mhm.
I'm going to show new bikes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or always had your new whatever it was, the new
Yeah,
football or
Right,
whatever.
right. You had to show off back then, the motocross
Yes.
type bikes. It looked
Yes.
like a motocross bike.
Yep.
With the number on it and all that stuff.
And it was funny because we would all do that, and then you'd be like, "Hey, look at all the cool stuff we got to play with this year." So you're like,
You're right.
footballs, or
Right.
whatever it was,
Skateboards or
yeah.
whatever.
and then
Yeah.
we'd find
New
somebody to go-
basketball, football.
and we'd go out and we'd find some way to misuse them and get into some trouble with them.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's what was fun about all that.
Oh yeah, just growing up in that
Yep.
area. So that
Yep.
and now the one movie that has never been a holiday classic for me, but a lot of people, and I didn't realize this, but a lot of people consider Die Hard.
Yeah, I was going to mention that one
Christmas
next. I do not.
No.
It does not reference. It does not reference other than being at a Christmas party.
Right.
That's the only thing that's really focused about it.
Now, I tell you one I do like that kind of pulls into Christmas is Trading Places. With
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd and Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy. I like that one. Well, I just totally went blank. I had another one too, and I just totally went blank. Oh, there was one that we started watching. I don't know if you remember this one or not. When HBO and stuff first came through,
Mm-hmm.
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember
We
the
used to
name
watch
of it.
that. Yep.
Yeah. I remember that name.
I actually have that one on DVD.
Oh, wow. Isn't that something? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just amazing to think about those movies and those things. And
Yeah.
then what would be, now we're going to kind of switch off here from movies to songs. What song, when you hear it, you go, Christmas time?
Oh, it's got to be Elvis Presley. All the different unique Santa baby, Santa bring my baby back to me, and
Yeah.
some of those rocking kind of.
Yeah.
I like the traditional. I do.
I do too.
And
Yeah,
he
I like both.
and he did too. I mean, he sang traditional, but it was neat to hear some of those kind of spins that he put on his own versions of some songs and stuff. And I'll never forget this. 6th grade, our teacher we asked, "What do you want for Christmas?" And she said, "Well," she goes, I know there's a new Elvis Presley Christmas album out, and man, that'd be really nice to have. Well, she ended up getting a bunch of copies of it. I don't know why, and I brought that up to her, and she goes, "I vaguely remember that." I said, and I'll say her name, Mrs. Sullivan. Mrs. Sullivan would say, when I came back years later, and I was a teacher then, I brought up that, and she goes, "Oh, I'd forgot all about that till you said that. But I sure do remember students getting me a bunch of copies of that." I said, "Well, that was the year I was in your class."
That's fine.
But, as a little kid, I mean, little things stick out to you like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I remember, like I said, including me, we got her a copy of it. But probably half the class got her, so she had plenty of the same Elvis Presley albums to enjoy.
Isn't that funny though?
Yeah.
That
Little
is the
things.
funniest thing. Yeah, it's the little things like that
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of stick out when you're looking at when you're
Sure.
thinking about that stuff.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's amazing.
We every year went and cut down our own tree.
Yeah.
We were blessed to have a family farm, and that was always exciting. Was always going out like you would see in the movies or TV, where they actually, choose their own tree to chop down.
We always did the artificial tree, but we
Mhm.
did all the lights on the house and the yard
Mhm.
stuff. You remember
Sure.
how Mama would put
I
all
remember that very well.
She loved Christmas, so we would
Yes.
all do that, and I mean that was fun. Wasn't fun taking it all down and putting it back up,
Sure.
but it was fun putting it out.
Right.
Just-
Right.
just doing that. So I mean, and I think that's why I like to decorate the house for the
Yeah.
kids now. And so
Sure.
that way when they show up, they see all the lights and everything, just see them little faces. It's just really cool. Plus, it's carrying on a tradition.
Sure. I tell you the one, and you talking about all the work, and we're lucky we didn't burn the house down because of those ancient color Christmas lights
Yes.
that would burn. I mean, would give you a 3rd-degree burn.
Scald and hot.
Oh my gosh! How far have we come now?
Had bulbs about that big.
Oh my, huge! You could see them from space.
Yeah. But
It
I'll
was
never
crazy.
forget, You know, Mom always sees that would go out. She had a church with a nativity scene. I mean,
Mhm.
stuff all in the front
Mhm.
yard.
I remember it very well.
everywhere, decorating with the bows and stuff. Because
Yeah.
she made it look classy
Yeah.
around the light, so it was
Yeah.
always cool. So yeah, it was just cool to see.
Mm-mm-mm.
And you know, I think really, to be honest with you, just kind of thinking about it, just about all of us decorate now from the family. Everybody's got some kind of lights and stuff they put out. So
That's right. That's
kinda
right.
carrying on that
Yeah. You
tradition.
get those habits, you get those habits. But yeah, the old icicles.
Oh Lord,
Man, what a pain.
yes.
What a pain.
You,
And Mom would get mad about trying to like vacuum up later on needles and icicles, and I'm like, well, we asked for it.
Yep.
I mean,
Well, you remember?
there ain't no reason to complain about it if you ask for it to happen.
I don't know if you remember or not, or if y'all ever had one, but you remember those Noel candles, the fake
Mhm.
candles that had the
Oh
lights
yeah,
in
with the
them?
bulb in them.
And that bulb
Yeah.
would get so hot inside the plastic. I don't know how they didn't make
I
it.
don't know how it didn't catch fire. Yeah, we had them. We had twin ones on the porch.
Yeah, I don't know.
When
how-
I was not later years, but in my younger, when I was
Right.
growing,
Oh, yeah.
very, very young age, I remember seeing pictures of them, those candles like that.
Yeah, I remember them. I think
Yeah.
everybody had them back in.
Oh
the day.
yeah, yeah.
You
And
know,
of course, everybody had the plastic Santa Claus that glowed.
Yes, Little Winter Wonderland by Andy Williams playing.
There you go.
Around from iHeartRadio. Yeah,
There you go. Got to have a little winter wonderland.
Just enjoying a little Christmas music tonight. You know, as we just kind of hang out. And
Yep.
talk.
Speaking of a Christmas tree, it was unique around ours. Like I said, you had that fresh smell, throughout the holiday season of the real tree. And my grandparents that lived in behind me, they had, and I thought theirs was unique because I had no earthly idea of anybody else having one in my life, but they had the aluminum tree.
Yeah.
With
I
with
remember
with,
seeing
with
them.
the rotating light that
Yep.
would change color.
Yep, I remember seeing them. Yep.
Yeah,
Back in the day.
and
But-
I'm
but
sure
telling you-
I've been told they're worth a lot of money.
But here's the thing. The best part of all of it was when you walked into that kitchen and you talking about smelling like the turkey and the
Mhm.
ham and the,
Sure.
the sweet potatoes and all the desserts and everything.
That's
Oh,
right.
Man. That was like, yep. So
Well, heck,
yeah,
I
that
still
was
look forward to that.
yeah, really. I know.
That memory don't go away. You're
The
right.
only problem is now we have to help cook.
That's true. A little bit more work. Yeah, when it was just ready for you when it was time. So
Right. Yeah, it's amazing how all that stuff just happened.
yeah, you got to play and then went to eat and went back to playing. A little different scenario nowadays.
Yeah, it don't work out too good.
It
now.
don't work that way where you're playing all the time anymore. But yeah, folks, we appreciate you joining in with us. If you have any
Yeah.
comments, please join in on the conversation. Any kind
Yes,
of
jump in.
yeah, absolutely. We're just living the dream here. We are kind of reliving our youth. One of the greatest times of the year for all of us, and we're hoping you're having a good one as well. And yeah, we've been blessed, that's for sure. We grew up in a wonderful place and had wonderful families, and yeah, special times. Not that they weren't all, but you like DH has mentioned, you focus around the holiday time. About those special memories and times with your families, and
Yeah, and
friends. So.
it's just, I mean, like you said, we had great times and memorable
Mhm.
times throughout the year,
Mhm.
but it's just something about the holidays with everybody getting together.
Sure.
And I think I appreciate that even more now that we've gotten older and we've lost relatives and everybody has such a busy schedule. It's hard to get.
It means so much. It does.
Yep.
You think about them special times.
Yep, because I mean that's that's part of what made us what we are. So,
Sure, that's
it's
right.
just amazing, and also it's really cool this time of year. It just seems like, and I know this sounds sappy, but it just seems like the entire earth there's more peace and more goodwill. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do
that's
that,
right.
don't be so accurate.
No, that's right.
More kindness.
Right, Right.
I should say. So, yeah.
That's right.
But yeah, it's DC, it's and we're coming up on that time. We said we're just gonna do about a 30-minute thing tonight and just kind of hang out, talk a little
Mhm.
bit. But
Mhm.
I think one thing we need to do is we need to be very thankful for all of our listeners and everyone that joins us weekly and has made this show what it is. 'Cause
Made this show what it is.
'cause it's sure
Absolutely.
not me and you. It's the guests that come on the show.
No, we just push some
Host us.
buttons.
Yeah. Push some buttons and ask a few awkward questions. That's all.
That's about our role.
Yeah.
People make our show for sure.
It's all of our guests and I mean all of the friends we've made over this show, and of course we're going to do more of that next week when we do our year-end recap. But
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
just everybody that's been on the show, coming on, all the people listening, just everybody out there. Just we hope you have a Merry Christmas and the best of holidays, and thanks for coming along with this ride for this year.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We hope everybody has a safe and happy one, and enjoy your families, and
Yes.
all the best to all of you.
What do you put out for sale?
And
Yes.
we hope that you'll come back around and check us out again for sure.
Yeah, we'll be here. We're
We'll
already
be-
bought- we're
we'll be
booked
here
into
regardless.
April. Yeah,
And,
we're going into
uh,
April, so
Yes. Starting to work on April. So we're blessed. We're booked all the way to through March, and man, it's been some kind of ride for sure. We'll have more information about doing our next live
yes.
show. We're excited about that. We're going to do a live show at the Roy Theater with the Roy Band. So and they have a beautiful theater where they perform at, and we're excited about being a part of their family as well. And
Yes.
that's going to be January the 11th.
February.
Oh, February. Okay. I
Yeah,
have my.
February 11th.
Okay. All right.
Yep, they're doing a
So-
show in January, but we're shooting for the February show.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we got some time.
I thought she had mentioned the January show would work better or something. So
Well,
I
double
didn't.
check. Now that might have changed. That was on the last podcast we did the February. So double check. We might
Right.
know that a little quicker.
Yes. I'll do that. I will definitely check on that within the next few days. So
Yeah, so we can make sure.
anyway, point being, either January or February, we're going to be doing a live with those fine folks, and so we're excited about that. We're reaching out and doing some different kind of things, and we're excited. See
Yeah,
what
it's
we can
gonna be
foul up.
It's gonna be amazing. Well, DC, as I always end off before I throw it over to you, I'm gonna add a little bit this year. I hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas.
You too, brother, and happy early birthday to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yep, that's coming up as well. So
Yep.
another year older, another year fonder, I guess.
And more hair falling out.
Yeah, well, there ain't much more to go. It's getting
Right.
almost
It's getting close, isn't it? Yeah,
But as
I
I end
understand.
as I end off every week before I throw it over to DC to play us out and play our sponsors and all and get us out of here. Remember, folks, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind, so always be kind to each other. Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Hope you and your families have an amazing holiday. DC?
All right. Amen, brother. Amen. Before we get the sponsors in, real quick, once again, next week, as DH has already let you know, we will have our yearly wrap up show. It's always fun.
Yeah.
We'll reminisce about some of they were all fantastic, but we'll highlight a few of them and go through our list of thanking some folks that were on and all that grand stuff. We'll do
maybe
that next week.
Maybe Tammy will come on and shoot us just one last chance to try to get some trivia right.
Maybe that can work. Anyway, we want to thank these fine folks that are our sponsors too. Let's get that.
Yes, thank you for supporting us.
DND Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, PJG Marketing, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, Riley Rhodes Art Designs at RileyRhodes.art on Instagram, and the Magic Yarn Project.
Yes,
You can
yes.
find all these great folks online.
Yes. Hey, folks, make sure check out the Magic Yarn Project and Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, two amazing organizations that we're lucky enough to be able to help support. The Magic Yarn Project. They make head coverings by hand, all volunteer work for children that are battling cancer. Just amazing work there. And Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids. You make a donation, they provide books for children that may not be able to afford books. And DC, before you roll out, I need to let everybody know I totally slipped on this. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker Radio, Radio Republic, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, website, Google Podcast, and Canyon Star TV. So make sure
The
and
fine
check
folks
us
at
out.
Canyon Star. Absolutely.
Yes, we're very blessed. Very
And we want to thank the Nashville Voyager for
Yes.
doing an article on us two crazy guys.
Yes, and the
And,
Canvas Rebel.
And the Canvas Rebel also did an article on us. So we appreciate y'all shouting out at us and giving us some love back. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys next week. That's always a fun show.
Year-end
Reminiscing
wrap-up.
about all the great people that we've had on the show. So come back and see us again on next week for that one, for sure.
Yep, and then in January we'll be back on with our regular guests.
Regular cast of guests, that's for sure.
All the
All
fun
right.
and frivolity.
Well, for DH, I'm DC. Happy holidays to you all. Safe travels, and we appreciate your support. And all the best to you and your families. And yeah, enjoy that. We sure will. And look forward to getting back with you here next week and wrapping up another year. It's hard to believe.
Yep, hard to believe another one in the books.
Absolutely. So for DH, DC here always leads you out by saying, keep playing those 80s, my friends, and we'll see
Merry
you
Christmas,
next
folks.
week.